Naples is located in the south of Italy and is the third largest city of the country in terms of population after Rome and Milan. The most striking detail about this city is that Italians do not like it. Yes, the people of Naples do not like the rest of the country, and the rest of the country does not like them. It is as if they were a completely different country, excluded from the country. Let me give you a concrete example of how Neapolitans do not like Italy, the country to which they belong. The city's football team won its first championship in the 1989-90 season. The Argentinian Maradona was the most prominent footballer in that championship, and also in the European Cup, which Napoli Football Club won. He is still revered in the city. In the summer of Naples' championship season, Italy hosted the 1990 World Cup. In the semi-final, which was played in Naples, the Italians came up against Maradona's Argentina, and it was the Neapolitan fans who filled the stands to support not their own team, but Maradona's Argentina, because Maradona had made them proud in a country where they were not loved. In this video, we take a closer look at the city of Naples and try to find out why it is so unpopular in Italy, as well as the big problems within Italy itself. One of the most disturbing things for anyone visiting Naples is the mountains of rubbish. There are piles of uncollected rubbish on almost every street and corner. This has been going on for many years. Especially in the 1980s, it escalated with the involvement of the Neapolitan mafia. Things got so bad that in 1994, a state of emergency was declared in the city because of the rubbish heaps. Now you may ask what the mafia has to do with rubbish. Well, the municipality of Naples was already inadequate in collecting domestic waste. There were 3 rubbish dumps in the city, and the amount of rubbish produced was many times greater than the capacity of these dumps. The mafia realized that the industrial and nuclear waste business was very profitable. Industrial and nuclear waste from other parts of Italy was dumped in Naples by the mafia. Since it was very expensive to dispose of this waste in accordance with official procedures, it was also profitable for the companies to work with the mafia. Of course, nobody cared about the people of Naples. Nobody liked the city and its inhabitants anyway. An estimated 10 million tons of toxic waste were scattered around. The suburbs of Naples, Nola, Acerra, and Merigliano, became known as the Triangle of Death after a sharp rise in cancer cases caused by toxic waste. This is where the mafia dumped the most toxic waste. In 2008, under international pressure, the Italian government decided to put an end to this situation. Industrial and nuclear waste no longer arrives in Naples, but there are still piles of rubbish on the streets due to a lack of funds and municipal incompetence. Naples has one of the highest crime rates in Italy. It is a dangerous place for tourists and locals alike. Many tourists who have traveled to many parts of the world say that Naples is the only place where they have had their wallets or money stolen. The very existence of the Camorra, the local mafia organization identified with the city itself, is a testament to the level of crime here. The Camorra is a mafia organization big and powerful enough to control my whole life in the city, to have influence over the whole population. They see themselves as the city's government. They claim it is their duty to ensure justice and order. The Camorra Mafia is a structure made up of several clans, and these clans can sometimes disagree among themselves and clash in the middle of the street. The biggest disagreement they have is over the conquest of new territory. In Naples, as in many other places, drugs are one of the mafia's main sources of income. The more territory a clan owns, the more drug revenue it has. This allows them to rise to the top of the Camorra. For this reason, clan members do not hesitate to risk death. They also paint the pictures of the dead mafia members on the walls in the streets and organize worship in front of these pictures. Even if the deceased is a clan leader, they build an altar and place his photo in it. For example, a clan leader called Emanuele Sibilio died in a fight with a rival clan. The clan members then built an altar for him in a street. This method is very effective with young people, and the mafia has no difficulty in recruiting new members. To prevent this, the Italian state's law enforcement agencies try to remove these images and altars, but they face difficulties every time. For example, when they tried to remove the altar of Emanuele Sibilio, the local population, organized by the mafia, reacted to the situation. Naples has also been affected by the influx of migrants in recent years. Many African migrants, especially from Tunisia, try to reach Europe from the Italian coast. Since 2015, the number of African and Middle Eastern migrants in Naples has started to increase very rapidly. This influx of migrants has exacerbated the existing crime problem. Although people other than Italians and those who travel to Italy do not realize it, Italy is divided into 2 countries. Northern and southern Italy are like 2 very different countries. While the rich and developed part of the country is made up of northerners, the southern part is both materially and sociologically backward. The northerners look at this situation from above and say, the African continent starts from southern Italy. People from both sides do not like each other very much. Northerners use the word mezzogiorno, which means midday in Italian, when talking about southern Italy. This metaphor refers to the fact that it is always hot in the south and that this heat becomes unbearable at noon. In this map, light colors indicate northern Italy and dark colors indicate southern Italy. In the Mezzogiorno region, per capita income is on average 40% lower than in the north. The northern city of Milan, for example, is richer than the whole of Switzerland in terms of per capita economic income. Naples, on the other hand, is on a par with the poorest countries in the European Union. According to official figures from the Naples municipality, the unemployment rate in Italy is 11.58%, while in Naples it is 31.39%. Neapolitan young people are migrating north or to other countries in search of better employment and income opportunities. In terms of urbanization, northern and southern Italy are like night and day. In the north, cities and roads are smoother, cleaner, and architecturally better. In Naples and other southern cities, on the other hand, unplanned urbanization prevails. In everyday life, streets, avenues, parks, and squares are in a state of disrepair and chaos. Graffiti and writings are scrawled haphazardly on the outside walls of buildings, and these buildings have not seen a paintbrush for years. The streets are full of potholes. Electric cables dangle in the open air. Italian politics is dominated by Northerners. This is reflected in the election results, and the North and South are strictly separated. Southerners tend to support left-wing social democratic parties. The Five Star Movement, for example, is a party that emerged at the end of the 2000s as a reaction to the stagnation of Italian politics. It grew suddenly by radically challenging and opposing the existing order. As a result, they have been successful in local and national elections. In Naples, they won both the general and local elections. People in northern Italy, on the other hand, support more conservative right-wing and center-right parties. With the north and south so divided, people in the south also dislike the Neapolitans. Although Italian, the official language of the country, is spoken in Naples, it is a very different Italian. The Italian spoken here has a hard dialect. For this reason, Italians in the north have great difficulty in understanding the language spoken by Neapolitans, and sometimes cannot even understand it. Some people claim that the language spoken in Naples is not Italian but Neapolitan. This claim is based on the fact that Neapolitan Italian has its own dictionary, which contains not only words but also some grammatical differences with explanations. In the north, it is considered shameful to speak the Neapolitan dialect. The logistical link between Naples and the north is practically broken. The high-speed train is the route of intercity transport in Italy. You can travel to almost any city by high-speed train. However, trains to Naples are less frequent. Trains going south are older and slower than those going north. On the other hand, the A3 motorway, which connects Naples to the rest of Italy, is the worst motorway in the country in terms of infrastructure. This motorway is under constant renovation. The European Union has provided the city with grants to improve Naples's transport infrastructure. But in 2012, the EU's Anti-Corruption and Anti-Fraud Office discovered that much of the money had gone to the Naples Mafia. It asked the Italian government to return the $471 million in grants that had gone to the Mafia. The people of Naples, Italy, are known as people who are constantly trying to deceive people by being cunning and trying to gain both material and moral benefits from it. For example, taxi drivers in the city are notorious for ripping off tourists. This is easy for us to say, but the difficulty of life here, the psychology of being an outcast, drives people to live daily and instantaneously. One of the most concrete examples of this cunning Neapolitan characterization is the cars in the city. If you go to the city, you will notice that most of the cars are dented and old. In the past, people living in Naples used all kinds of ways to cheat the car insurance companies, and it was widespread. Unable to cope with this, the car insurance companies left the city, and only one car insurance company, owned by the Mafia, continued to operate. This company also raised its prices. At the moment, Naples is the most expensive city in Italy for car insurance. Also, people did not dare to cheat the Mafia, as they had done with other car insurance companies before. As a result, most cars here are uninsured. As the city is one of the poorest, the cars are also old. People are also not very enthusiastic about following the rules. As a result, the traffic is extremely accident-prone. As a result of all this, they continue to use the cars until they are completely wrecked. But is everything bad in Naples? Of course not. This city is the capital of pizza, and Neapolitans make the best pizza. Not just pizza, they have the best cuisine in Italy. Neapolitans are very passionate, helpful, and good people if you meet them one by one and make friends. They argue that the system forces them to be cunning and manipulative in everyday life, and they are not wrong. The city also has a very rich history. There are also holiday resorts with very good beaches nearby. Everyone, both lovers and haters, says that you should visit Naples. If you take care of a few things, you can get around without any problems.